It's no secret that some of you are frustrated by the delays to No Rest for the Wicked's multiplayer and the Breach update. The wait has been longer than anyone has anticipated, and it's easy to feel like the silence means the worst. But there's more to this story. Behind the scenes, the team has gone through some major changes, with Private Division being sold off, and then from them regaining the publishing rights and doubling down on their vision for this dark fantasy world. Speaking of doubling down, guys, if you enjoy my content and you feel like I earn it, hitting that like button is a great way to say thanks. And if you do, and you find that subscription button around here somewhere, sound off in the comments below so I can welcome you officially to the channel, just like Fraggle Glass here. Welcome in and thank you so much. But now with the hurdles behind the devs at Moon Studios, the news, the updates, and improvements to this game are all set to roll out at a much faster pace. 2025 could be the defining year for this game. So in this video, I want to take you through this upcoming year, breaking down the roadmap, giving you guys 7 reasons why you should jump into this world, and yes, 3 reasons why you might want to wait. So let's dive right in. I think it's important that we talk about what is in store for the near term, what is right on the horizon, especially if you're watching this at the beginning of 2025, because it's no secret that delays have pushed major updates like multiplayer and the Breach into this year. One of the biggest culprits, well, Private Division being sold off. This was a massive shakeup that disrupted development timelines and more than anyone possibly expected. Now, with the team self-publishing, they've regained full control over the game's future, and the silver lining here, every dollar spent on No Rest for the Wicked now goes directly to supporting the developers and their vision. But January 2025 is shaping up to be a very pivotal month, kicking off with the return of a Wicked Inside. This is going to be a behind the scenes series look where the devs really share their updates, their thoughts, news, the paths, and the year ahead. This marks the beginning of a more transparent and frequent cadence of communication, and with more marketing campaigns in the works, the team is building momentum to get No Rest for the Wicked into the hands of even more players. As they face tough competition from major titles like Path of Exile 2, the goal isn't to just attract new players, but to carve out a space to those seeking something fresh and distinct in 2025. Now, multiplayer might also be launching as a part of the first big update for the year. We're going to know more on that here in the very, very near future. It's a cornerstone of No Rest for the Wicked and its experience, exploring harrowing dungeons, solving puzzles, and surviving this dark, punishing world alongside friends adds a whole new dimension to the game. It's the kind of update that can really breathe new life into early access, giving players a real reason to log in, to stay engaged, and to shape the game with their feedback. But let's also be realistic. Even with these updates, there's still a long way to go before we see version 1.0. Now, personally, I don't think 1.0 is coming this year, but hey, I'd love to be proven wrong. And for console players, there's a glimmer of hope. Early access on consoles might not be too far off, but it's clear that a few more foundational, fundamental updates are needed in this first half of 2025. Before we can really start dreaming about wider platform launches, they're going to have to focus in on and get the game in a really strong state on PC. This near term, or dare we say the next 3 months, it's really all about laying a foundation for 2025, rebuilding trust to those who feel burnt or tired or frustrated that we haven't seen the updates come at a regular or a faster cadence, delivering obviously these key updates that they've set out for, and setting the tone for the rest of the year. With this strong start, No Rest for the Wicked could possibly be one of the most compelling early access games of the year. Now, let's dive deeper into the 7 reasons why you should consider playing, and then we'll wrap up with the 3 reasons why you should avoid. So if you've made it this far into the video, you're awesome, by the way, but you're also probably wondering what makes No Rest for the Wicked worth playing in 2025. Whether you're a veteran eagerly waiting the next big update or a new player looking to dive into this dark, challenging world, there are 7 reasons why this game is worth your time. Number 1, it's fun. It's challenging, and it actually has a lot of content. Now, that last piece might sting a little bit to us veteran players, but I do think the fact that I have put in hundreds of hours into this game is a real telling sign that it does offer a lot for its base price. Anyhow, first and foremost, obviously, like I said, this game is fun. Yes, it's also challenging, but that's a part of what makes it so rewarding. Every choice you make for your character feels impactful, and if you're new to the game, there's already a ton to do. Veterans, on the other hand, have plenty to look forward to with upcoming updates promising new zones, expanded storylines, and the long-awaited multiplayer feature. Whether you're diving into the game for the first time or after a break, No Rest for the Wicked keeps things exciting. Number 2, it has an affordable entry point right now as a part of early access. At around $40, this game feels like an incredible value. I've easily put in hundreds of hours, and with the upcoming updates, there's going to be so much more to come. But keep in mind, this price actually won't last forever. Once version 1.0 rolls out, the game will likely be priced like other AAA titles. So if you're curious, now's the time to get in before the price goes up. And that takes me to number 3. This is a real key feature: crossplay and cross progression announced and planned from the start for this game. One of the most exciting features in development, in my personal opinion, is both crossplay and cross progression. This means that you can pick up your game on PC, continue it on your console, or even go play it on the go with the Switch. Or maybe, let's be honest, maybe the Switch 2 is more what they're targeting for this game. Your character is truly your character, no matter where you choose to play. And this will allow you to obviously play with your friends wherever they choose to play. This is a great community building tool, and any game, especially an online, a game that has online features, a multiplayer aspect to it, that doesn't have crossplay, cross progression, is really only shooting themselves in the foot. So I'm thrilled that this game is going to has this as a feature as soon as it starts rolling out to the other platforms. And this brings me to number 4, a solo and co-op friendly story. If you're a solo player, there's good news. The story is engaging and it's really designed to be played solo. But if you prefer adventuring with friends, you can do that too. Just keep in mind how the realm system works. Anyone you invite to your realm becomes a citizen. Removing them requires a vote. Same goes for you if they want to remove you. It's an interesting mechanic that encourages cooperation, but also something to be mindful of as the game evolves. And if for some reason you do have friends that are jerks and they kick you from your own realm, well, you'll get an instant copy, a real copy of that realm, so you're not losing progress. You're just, I guess, reevaluating your friend situation. Number 5, we should have probably talked about this sooner: tactical combat that keeps you on your toes. The combat for No Rest for the Wicked is unlike what you're going to find in games like Diablo or Path of Exile. It's a skill-based and very tactical, and this isn't a game where you can just spam your abilities. Every move matters, especially in multiplayer where friendly fire is on. So if you're casting a spell, you'd better let your team know, or they might end up on the receiving end of your damage. Now, it's challenging, but it does make every encounter more rewarding and dynamic, which is a lot of fun and helps with the replayability. And don't worry about the friendly fire, folks. It's not like it's turned on and tuned up to the max. There is going to be a dedicated PvP kind of game and subsystem, but we'll know more about that as this year rolls along. Speaking of rolling on, this brings us to number 6, the level design and the dynamic plague system. The plague system brings in a huge level of dynamic open world changes that few really other games can match. Because the levels are not generated, they're not auto-generated, this means that monsters, enemies, things about those levels will change depending on what the plague system is having an impact on. Think of it as No Rest for the Wicked's Crucible update that applied to the Crucible, and what it did for the Crucible, that's what they're going for its open world design. This is going to keep the environments dynamic, it's going to add new challenges, and it's going to drastically boost that replayability. You'll never know really what to expect, and that's a part of the thrill. Now we finally reached number 7, and this is, I think, one of the most critical components of one that I feel the devs have truly highlighted, and it's that your feedback matters. Last but not least, the devs are listening. It just isn't a game. It's a living, breathing project shaped by its players. The developers do an incredible job of keeping the community informed about both near-term updates and long-term plans. Now, most of this happens on Discord, but don't worry, I've got you covered here as well. If you're thinking about playing, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. I'll keep you up to date with all the latest news. And hey, fair warning, I might occasionally dip into the culture war or have an anti-Marxist rant from time to time. You've been warned. Pay off your debts, folks. That's your true way to really get some leverage in your life. So that's what I'm going to say there. So you've been warned. I do hope you decide to stick around, but I understand why some people don't enjoy my style. But that's it for the 7 reasons why you should consider playing No Rest for the Wicked in 2025. But before you hit that buy button, there are 3 reasons why you might want to hold off. So let's take a look at why you should avoid playing this game this year. And I think it's fair to say, as much as I enjoy this game, I know it's not for everyone. So let's break it down. Number 1, it's still an early access game. The first reason is simple. It's still the early access game. If you're someone who doesn't like waiting for updates, fixes, or features to be added, you might want to hold off until this game is feature complete. Early access means the game is still evolving, and while that can be exciting for some players, others might find it frustrating. If you're not into watching a game grow over time, it might be best to wait until version 1.0. But I will have a counter argument to this point, and it's that if you're the kind of person that always ends up saying, man, I wish I could have seen the game or experienced the game the way it used to be, well, that would be a reason why to play. But if you're not that kind of person, I totally get it. And yes, you want to move to number 2. Your second reason is the challenge. Obviously, hard games are hard. No Rest for the Wicked leans heavily into the challenging but rewarding gameplay loop, which is great for players who enjoy that Souls-like experience. But if you're not looking for a challenge or in punishing difficulty, just isn't your idea of fun, you might just want to skip out. That being said, if you're willing to play with your friends and dive into the co-op experience, the difficulty can feel a lot more manageable. Just don't expect this game to go easy on you. And now we wrap it up with number 3, the competition of other games and the lack of this game being on console. 2025 is shaping up to be a killer year for action RPGs, with Path of Exile 2 having launched in December in early access and plenty of other big names hitting the scene. The competition is fierce, and since No Rest for the Wicked is still in early access and currently it's not available on consoles
at the time of this recording,
you might find more immediate enjoyment in one of the other games that's fully polished and ready to go,
in hopefully a completed way.
So is No Rest for the Wicked worth playing in 2025? If you're a fan of cooperative challenges, immersive fantasy, and community-driven development, now might be the perfect time to step into this dark and mysterious world. The journey won't always be easy. It's a game that demands patience and persistence. But with its early access updates and the team's clear commitment to growth, this could be the year the game truly finds its footing and dominates the action RPG space. What do you think of the roadmap? Are you excited to jump in, or are you waiting for more content? Now, while our roadmap might be out of date, we're hopeful to get a new idea of what they're planning on rolling out. They've already teased several updates past the first one, which is going to be the Breach update, talking about combat, talking about Sanctuary, and so much more. So as that rolls out, hopefully you guys get excited and you're excited to jump in or jump back in, or regardless if you're waiting for more content or no, I'd love to know what you guys think. And if you guys do enjoy this content, be sure to like, sub, and share it out. But until next time, may you brave the dark and may your adventures be wickedly rewarding. As we like to do here, we like to wrap up all of our videos with a message of hope. As we step into this new year, I want to take a moment to speak directly to those of you who might be struggling, especially the fellow young men out there who are trying to find their way in a world that often feels incredibly overwhelming and sometimes even callous to the fact that you exist. Life can feel heavy and the path forward might seem unclear, but let me remind you, greatness isn't born overnight. It's built one step at a time. The Roman philosopher Siena once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." And scripture also reminds us to be strong and courageous and do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. These words just aren't motivational. They're a call to action. A reminder that even in your hardest moments that you're not alone and you're capable of more than you realize, regardless of whether you believe that there's a God or not. So if life feels overwhelming, start small. Like make your bed, take a walk, cleanse your space. These are small actions. These are small victories that build momentum. They remind you that you're in control of the day, no matter how it started. Don't be afraid to ask for help, lean on your friends, and take time to rest when you need it. Remember this, adversity is the forge of strength. As Zig Ziglar said, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I want you to keep moving forward, even when it feels hard, because your persistence will pay off. And as you do, know that your journey matters. Your story matters. And that's it for me today, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel by watching this video and being a part of this community. I want you to stay strong, take care of yourself, and remember that every day is a chance to start fresh. Hopefully, I will see you in the next video, but until then, take care.